It's a Sunday afternoon or maybe a Monday night. You walk into a social setting. It could be your family's living room, a sports bar with coworkers, or even a friend's backyard BBQ, but you feel completely isolated, and sometimes even guilty. Suddenly, they erupt. They scream, they hug, they curse the mother of a referee who doesn't even know they exist. They enter a state of absolute ecstasy or fall into a pit of deep depression. And all because of what is happening in a football, baseball, basketball, or volleyball game. All because of a group of 11, 5, or 9 millionaire strangers wearing colorful uniforms, chasing a ball or a point, hundreds or thousands of miles away. You look around and feel numb to the behavior of people you know, respect, and live with. Grown men, fathers, business owners, lawyers, people who pay taxes and make serious decisions during the week seem to have regressed. You see your coworker, the same guy who is usually composed and professional, now wearing a jersey with another man's name on the back, a man younger, richer, and more athletic than him screaming, "We won," as if he had taken a single step onto that field or court. And in the face of this spectacle of raw emotion, you feel absolutely nothing. Your heart rate doesn't change. Your pupils don't dilate. Actually, if we're being honest, what you feel is a mix of boredom and mild repulsion. It's as if you were an alien anthropologist or a time traveler observing an ancient tribal ritual of spirit possession. You see the irrationality, the waste of energy, the total surrender to something uncontrollable. And then, the moment you fear most happens. The confrontation. Someone turns to you, sweaty, eyes wide with adrenaline, and realizes you are sitting there, calm, maybe checking your phone or just staring into space. Their smile drops. The tribe realizes there is an intruder who is not participating in the ritual. Here comes the question, or the passive-aggressive comment. "Man, don't you have a pulse? How do you not care about this? It's the playoffs. Or worse, you're so boring. You don't know how to have fun. You need to live a little." So in that exact moment, society tries to implant a virus in your mind. They try to make you believe that your sobriety is a defect. You start to question yourself. Am I too cold? Do I have some emotional blockage? Why can't I feel this passion that unites everyone? Why do I feel so alienated when the subject is the NFL, the NBA, or anything that involves rooting for a team? This feeling of isolation is real. It is the pain of being the only sober person at a party where everyone is drunk. You are the outsider, the lone wolf who doesn't belong to the pack. But I am here today to change that narrative completely. I want you to pay close attention. What they call boredom, coldness, or arrogance, I call mental sovereignty. What if I told you that your inability to join the collective hysteria isn't a biological failure, but a sign of evolution? You aren't on the outside because you are less human. You are on the outside because, instinctively, you refuse to be an extra in someone else's glory. You refuse to hand over your vital energy to a result you cannot control. Today, we are going to perform a full autopsy on this feeling. We will use Stoic philosophy, crowd psychology, and neuroscience to prove that your indifference to sports is actually the greatest competitive advantage you possess. While they watch, you act. We'll get started in a second. But first, if this speaks to you, please like the video and subscribe to the Solitude Mastery channel. To understand why you feel this almost physical aversion to fan culture, we need to stop looking at the surface and start looking at the internal mechanics of the human brain and social psychology. Why is it so hard for you to pretend you care? The answer begins with a concept psychology calls BIRGing, Basking in Reflected Glory. Robert Cialdini, One of the world's leading experts on persuasion studied this deeply. He noticed a fascinating pattern on American college campuses. On Mondays, after the university team won a game, the number of students wearing the team's jersey exploded. And the vocabulary changed. They said, "We won. We played great. We crushed them." But when the team lost, the jerseys disappeared. And the speech changed to the third person. "They played badly. Their coach is an idiot. They lost." Do you see what's happening here? This is emotional vampirism. Most people carry a fragile ego, a self-image that needs constant external maintenance. Their lives often lack real victories. Their work is monotonous, relationships are lukewarm, personal achievements are rare, so the brain seeks a shortcut. If I can't win in my life, I will associate myself with someone who wins. They outsource their self-esteem to the team. When the team wins, they feel a dopamine injection as if they had scored the touchdown themselves. It is a potent and cheap drug. But you have a brain that operates differently. You have what we call an internal locus of control. People like you, born strategists, feel a visceral discomfort in taking credit for something you didn't do. For you, saying "we won" when you were sitting on the couch eating nachos sounds like fraud. It sounds ridiculous. Your mind rejects this misappropriation of merit. And it's not just modern psychology. Let's go back 2,000 years. Lucius Annaeus Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, lived in Rome, the epicenter of bread and circuses. He saw the masses packing the Colosseum, screaming for blood, addicted to the adrenaline of the gladiators. In one of his most famous letters to Lucilius, Seneca writes something that could be said today about any packed football stadium. Nothing is so damaging to good character as the habit of lounging at the games. For then it is that vice steals subtly upon one through the avenue of pleasure. What do you think I mean? I mean that I come home more greedy, more ambitious, more voluptuous. Yes, and even more cruel and inhuman, because I have been among human beings. Seneca realized something terrible. Contact with the crowd makes you dumber. When you enter a stadium or join a fanatic crowd, your rational self is dissolved and absorbed by the collective beast. The intelligence of a crowd is always lower than the intelligence of the dumbest individual in it. It is the herd effect. It is emotional contagion. You have seen this happen. People who are peaceful in their daily lives suddenly are cursing, fighting, throwing things onto the field, wishing physical harm on a referee. Your repulsion, my friend, is not arrogance. It is your mental immune system functioning perfectly. You feel disgusted by this because, intuitively, you value your autonomy. You refuse to let your emotions be hijacked by external events. Think about the neurochemistry of this. The fanatic fan's brain is addicted to reward prediction error. It is the same mechanism that hooks people on slot machines. The uncertainty of the result. Is it going to be a touchdown? Is it going to be a buzzer beater? Generates dopamine spikes. They are not there for the sport, for the athletic beauty, or for the strategy. They are there for the chemical addiction of uncertainty. You, on the other hand, probably find this exhausting. Many of you comment, "I feel like my energy is being drained just by being near that screaming." And it is. Your brain calculates the cost-benefit. You look at the screen and think, okay, if they win, I gain nothing. If they lose, I lose nothing. So why should I invest 3 hours of my life and tons of cortisol in this? To society, this is being cold. To a strategist, this is being efficient. You are preserving the most valuable resource a human being has, emotional energy. While they are spending their entire reserve of dopamine and testosterone screaming at a TV, ending Sunday exhausted and hoarse, you have a full tank. The question remains, if you aren't spending this energy in the bleachers, where are you spending it? Because this is where we separate the merely boring from the true conquerors. It is not enough to not cheer. The question is, what do you do instead? And that is where Nietzsche's philosophy comes in, and the mindset shift that will change how you see yourself in the mirror. Until now, we talked about what you are not. You are not a fanatic. You are not a follower. But what are you? Society loves to label your indifference as intellectual arrogance or lack of joy. They say, "Oh, you think you're too good to cheer." And here's the twist, the key turn that will blow your mind. They are right. On a subconscious level, you really think you are too good for that. And it is okay to think that way. Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher who dedicated his life to hammering away the illusions of mediocrity, had a name for this mass behavior, herd morality. The herd gathers out of fear. The sheep needs to be glued to the other sheep because alone it is easy prey. In the modern world, the wolf is not a predator animal. The wolf is solitude, it is silence. It is the responsibility of being the sole owner of your destiny. To escape this weight, people dissolve into the collective. Wearing the team jersey, painting their face, memorizing the anthem, all these are rituals of belonging. It is a desperate scream of, "I am just like you. Please don't leave me alone," but you rejected the herd contract. Your lack of interest in sports doesn't come from a place of boredom. It comes from a place of ambition. Nietzsche spoke about the will to power, wills are matched. It is the fundamental drive of superior beings to grow, to overcome themselves, to expand their influence and strength over reality. The Übermensch, the Superman or Overman, does not seek validation watching another man win. He seeks his own victory. Think about the cold math of return on investment, ROI. Let's take a hardcore baseball or football fan. He spends, on average, 10 to 15 hours a week consuming content, watching games, watching pre-game shows, arguing on Twitter, listening to podcasts. In 10 years, that is more than 5,000 hours. What did he get in return? Cheap emotion. Illusion of competence. If his team wins the World Series, his bank account stays the same. His marriage doesn't improve. His gut doesn't get smaller. His anxiety about the future doesn't disappear. You, intuitively, look at this contract and say, "No, this is a terrible deal." You realize the brutal difference between the spectator and the gladiator. The spectator pays with money and time to feel emotion. The gladiator charges in results to generate emotion. When you refuse to spend 4 hours on a Sunday watching a Formula One race where you aren't driving, it's not because you hate speed. It's because you prefer to be in control of your own steering wheel. You prefer the real pain of a heavy workout at the gym, feeling your own muscles burn, than the fake adrenaline of watching an Olympic athlete break a record. You prefer the real anxiety of launching a project, making a risky investment, or asking someone interesting out on a date than the artificial nervousness of a penalty shootout. Your boredom with sports is actually a symptom that your reality is becoming too interesting to be swapped for a simulation. You can't care about the basketball player's hero's journey because you are too busy writing your own journey. You don't need to watch someone win. You need to win. This isn't being boring. This is being a protagonist. While they live life vicariously experiencing glory by proxy, you live life directly. No filters, no middlemen. This is your hidden advantage. While the masses are distracted by modern bread and circuses, anesthetized by TV dopamine, the battlefield of real life is empty. The competition is lower than you imagine because most of your competitors are too busy cheering for LeBron, for Brady, or for Mahomes. They are in the bleachers. You are in the arena. But pay attention, knowing this isn't enough. If you just turn off the TV and stare at the wall, you are just a bitter nihilist. To activate Solitude mastery, you need to transform this saved energy into a lethal weapon. Now, let's go to the real battlefield. You already understood that your indifference is a sign of intelligence and focus. But that doesn't stop the world from continuing to be annoying. You are still going to get dragged to Super Bowl parties, backyard BBQs during the playoffs, or happy hours where the TV is on at max volume. You, who already don't like sports, need tactical tools to navigate these environments without being the isolated bore and without needing to fake an emotion you don't feel. Here are 3 social engineering strategies to keep your mental sovereignty intact while the world around you loses its mind. Tactic 1. The silent anthropologist. How to act during the game. The biggest mistake you make is trying to fight the energy of the room or trying to hide on your phone the whole time. This signals weakness and discomfort. When you are in an environment where everyone is screaming at the TV, activate anthropologist mode. Instead of getting irritated by the screaming, observe it, dissociate. Look at their behavior like a scientist studying primates. Note how their body posture changes, how their voice alters, how they seek validation from one another. When someone turns to you expecting you to jump for joy over a touchdown, don't fake it. But don't be a grump either. Maintain a relaxed posture, a slight smirk, the smile of someone watching a child play, and use mirror validation. If someone screams, "Did you see that? That was incredible." You answer calmly, "I see you guys are going crazy over that." The energy in here is insane. Notice the subtlety? You didn't validate the game, which you don't care about. You validated their emotion. This is charisma. You recognize their joy without needing to participate in it. You remain the sober adult in the room, unshakable, a rock in the middle of the emotional storm. This generates unconscious respect. Tactic 2. Conversational Aikido. How to escape the sports topic. The nightmare of the non-fan is the elevator chat or the start of the Zoom meeting on Monday. So what did you think of the game yesterday? Or who's your team? Many of you freeze here. You say, "Oh, I don't like football," and it creates that awkward silence where you seem like the weirdo. The tactic here is the focus deflection. You are going to use their question as a trampoline to talk about what you want. When they ask, "Who's your team?" you answer, "Man, I gotta confess, I retired my jersey." Nowadays, I'm focusing 100% of my energy on insert your project, hobby, goal. The stock market, or your project, has been my only sport lately. How about you? How are things going at work? Look at what you did. 1. You didn't attack the sport. You weren't the bore. 2. You justified your indifference with ambition, which elevates your status. 3. You return the question to a real topic, work life. If they insist, "But you didn't see the finals?" you say, "No, I was busy building my own empire last night." But it looks like it was important to you, right? This puts you in a position of power. While they consumed, you produced. And you do this without being aggressive, just stating facts. Tactic 3. The high performance shield. Handling judgment. Sometimes the attack is direct. "Wow, you're too serious. You don't know how to live. Stop being so boring." This hurts if you don't have the correct frame. They are trying to frame your indifference as a defect. You are going to reframe it as an elite virtue. Do not defend yourself. Never justify yourself. When they say you are too serious or don't cheer, agree, and amplify, say, "It's true. I have a huge difficulty getting emotional about other men's achievements. I save all my adrenaline for my own battles. I guess it's a factory defect. Or a competitive advantage." Say this looking them in the eyes, with confidence. You are communicating subtextually, I am not boring. I am selective. Society respects those who have high standards. If you treat your time and your attention as scarce and valuable resources, people will start to treat you with more respect. They will stop inviting you to watch the game, which is a relief, and start inviting you to talk about business, projects, real things. You filter your social circle naturally. Comment down below if you have used any of these tactics or if you have another favorite one. In the end, not cheering isn't just a preference. It is an existential stance. You chose to live in the real world, not the world of representation. While they scream for heroes in uniforms, you are silently becoming the hero of your own family, your own life. But now I'm curious, comment below if you don't feel bad for being the fish with feathers. Eagles don't swim with the school of fish either. The next time you are surrounded by that collective hysteria, take a deep breath, feel the calm of your own mind, and remember, your lack of applause for them is the silence necessary for you to hear your own thoughts. Stay sober, stay focused, and let them keep the bread and circuses. We will keep the kingdom. If you want to learn how to use this leftover mental energy to build a legendary life, subscribe to Solitude Mastery. Here, the only cheering that matters is the voice inside your head saying, "Keep going. Go ahead and like the video." Until next time,